Hi, everybody. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2020, and this is the Microcast. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to nurture your community during lockdown. So, obviously, the news of the day is the COVID virus, and so everybody's been, staying at home. And so, if you've been running a meetup group, this has probably drastically affected how your community interacts. And I want to talk a little bit about some ideas you might be able to follow through with to help keep your community going, so that way it can survive today and in the months ahead. So, a little bit of background about myself. I have been a group organizer for many years. For about 7 years, I helped run a group here in Philadelphia for Mac and iOS development. Now I'm hosting a group that's dedicated towards programming in the Elixir programming language. And then before then, I've been a member of, various different groups. So one of the big things here is that, early on, I've seen groups, that canceled their March meeting. We canceled the Elixir March meeting. And then, by the time the April meeting came around, we decided to do something online. And firstly, I would recommend that you avoid just canceling all your meetups in the hope that, once, all this undoes, we'll, go back to meeting in person for a couple reasons. One, it might be multiple, it might be in a couple more months before that's really, a valid option. And even when it is a valid option, I feel like you will more than likely see way less participation, because even when people, can go out, they'll probably go out to perform their job and to, get supplies and stuff, but they're, going to be a little bit more hesitant to do this optional, event type thing. So, for you as a group organizer, you really need to think how to adapt to the current day scenario. Good businesses that survive will be adapting, and communities need to adapt as well. And so the very first thing is that you really have to embrace an online meeting. And the idea there is not that you're going to get it right on day one. You will hold an online meeting, and, you'll get some people hopefully to attend, and things will go wrong, and that's okay. It's part of the learning process. And so get over that hump and just start to do things. And then when you're thinking about the types of events to have online, we all traditionally have, a monthly meet. A lot of us, the standard format, I would say, for a lot of at least technical meetups, are to have a meetup once a month, and have it to be 2 to 3 hours, and have lots of technical presentations, and then, some socializing time. You can totally take that and apply it just to online, which is like a rubber stamp. But I feel like this is an opportunity to kind of rethink how your community interacts. And so when you're thinking of different types of events, you can think of things like, one, breaking that main meeting maybe into two. Maybe you meet every other week. Maybe you have a meeting that is in the evening hours. Maybe you have a meeting that's, in the afternoon hours, because we'll have some people who are out of work and have nothing better to do, and they're looking for something to do productive during the day. And other people still have to work. They have to work online, or they're going out and working as, whatever their job is. And so, giving them some flexibility, I think, would be very helpful. And then also thinking about the types of events you run. So these presentation style events are great, but they're not terribly interactive. So you could consider things like lots of show and tells. So basically having different people do like 5-minute, demos of projects they're working on or progress they've made on something. You could consider doing things like book clubs, or video conference clubs, where you can have people, read a chapter of a book or watch a conference session, and then kind of come together to discuss it. We've done some of those in my meetings, and they've been really, really helpful. Another thing you can consider is morning coffee. If you've got a fairly large group, a lot of people who are stuck at home and they live by themselves, or they live with an individual and they're looking for some connection with other people, would really benefit from just like that daily interaction. And so if your group size allows it, then definitely you can consider that. The other major thing to consider when planning, your digital community is how do your members interact offline. So for our group, we have specifically set up a Slack community, and because our group is rather small, we don't really hit any of the formal limits that a free tier Slack plan would hit, and it's definitely helped. I mean, we talk about things a lot more often than we would have if we didn't have the Slack or if we were just using things like email. Um, and so setting up a room. I'm pinging all over. Setting up a room, and you will have to curate that room though. Like it's not one of those things where you can just push the Slack up and it's just going to be like a success out the gate. Like anything, you're going to have to nurture and cultivate it like a garden. You're going to have to post to it daily or whatever, kind of a couple times a week, with just telling people hello and asking people questions and sharing the types of things that you want them to share. You do have to find a balance because you don't want to, you know, necessarily inundate people with noise. You want to try to be productive and helpful, but try to find a balance there. And I think it's really important. It's definitely helped our groups, stay in contact with each other, and I feel like that really helps build a much more long-term relationship. So hopefully you enjoyed those couple tips and tricks about keeping your nurturing your community during this lockdown. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and your communities are doing well. We'll have more to say about this tomorrow in our next microcast. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.